Hi, I'm Hilma Volk, and I'm going to talk about a problem that's actually fairly common, and that's numbness in your hands when you're riding a bicycle, a motorcycle, other equipment such as snowmobiles, ATVs, handling lawn equipment, stuff like that. So, there's several reasons why you can have numb hands operating these things. And what helps your friend who's had numb hands may not help you. So before you make expensive modifications to your pieces of equipment or your bicycle, check out what you can do for yourself first. Because the problem may be more in your body than in the bicycle or motorcycle, whatever. Okay, so one of the most common problems, but not the only problem, is the pectoralis minor muscle, which comes from actually a piece of your shoulder blade that sticks out underneath your collarbone, and the muscle attaches from there, that little piece called the coracoid process, to the third, fourth, and fifth rib. Now I'm not going to discuss the pectoralis minor muscle here because I've got another video on that, so please check out that video. But how do you know if you've got a pectoralis minor problem? The easiest way to tell is if you've got some spare time. Actually, when you're just laying down or watching TV or something like that, when you're not doing anything better, raise your hands over your head like this or so, and keep them there for maybe 20 minutes. If your fingers get numb, most likely you've got a pectoralis minor problem. It may not be your only problem, but watch my videos, see what you can do for those, because there's a self-massage and also stretches you can do for your pectoralis minor muscle. And because when you've got your hands up like this, riding a motorcycle, riding a bicycle, whatever, doing this can cause numbness in your hand if you've got that problem. Okay, another problem if you're riding a bicycle or a motorcycle is a lot of times you've got your hands like this or like this. This can cause strain on the tendons that go through the carpal tunnel ligament and strain on your forearm. The thing you want to do before you spend money on your bicycle is look at my video that tells about the hand, wrist, and forearm, and the video about self-help techniques for the hand, wrist, and forearm. And these are self-massage techniques that can really loosen up those forearm muscles and relieve the problems that you've got there. Because just about anybody who does anything with their hands, they're going to have tight forearm muscles. Okay, now, you're going to watch those videos, right? Yeah, got them. Okay, now, when you're riding a bicycle, make sure that your arms aren't like this or that, or you don't have deviation. This puts tremendous strain on your tendons. What you might want to consider is grips. Now, if you're riding a motorcycle or something else of high performance, you probably want to get grips that are made especially for your bike. So check if your bike dealer, your motorcycle dealer, check online, whatever. There are a number of grips that are made for motorcycles, and because of the high speeds involved, you want to have something already manufactured for you. Now, if you're riding a bicycle, there's a couple cheap things you can do. One is take a tennis ball, and I don't have a tennis ball with me to show you, but slice it in halfway through, and then make some other slits or cuts to get that tennis ball around your grip, so that you're gripping the tennis ball so it gets a nice straight line of your hand when you're riding the bicycle. You don't want this, you don't want that, and you want a nice comfortable grip, and a tennis ball does that pretty well. Another thing you can use is pipe insulation. Not the great big pipe insulation, because you don't want to have a big grip like that. You want a grip that's comfortable and natural. So there's these smaller pipe insulations. The insulation is about maybe a 1/4 inch, and it's kind of foamy. And then how do you attach it to your bicycle? Well, if you're really, really cheap and tacky, you can use duct tape. Or there are things like self-adhesive bandages, like ACE bandages that are self-adhesive. There's other products. You can get them at some drugstores, medical supplies, even places that sell horse equipment, because a lot of people use them for bandages of horses. They're self-sticking. They've got a nice sticky grip on them, but they're not adhesive sticky. They just stick to themselves. Makes a nice grip. And if those work out for you, you can spend some money on custom-made grips or manufactured grips. But hey, do what you can. Now, just a word of caution: if you're using grips, it's going to affect the way you brake your bike. Now, the brain, when you're doing routine things, the subconscious mind takes over, and so you don't have to think about things all the time. You just brake your bicycle because it's used to doing it the way it always has. Now, if you modify your bike, you don't want to go out in traffic. You just ride your bike where there's no traffic and brake several times so that your brain gets used to the new the new way you grip to brake, because you don't want to be out in traffic and you subconsciously try and brake and the brakes aren't where they used to be. Okay, another thing is, this is a neutral position for your arms as opposed to this. Having your arms down like this, you're using a muscle which goes think from there, basically from here to here, called the Pronator Teres. You can feel that if you squeeze your forearm just below the elbow and move your arms like this, feel this muscle rolling back and forth between you. That's the Pronator Teres, and its job is to go like this. That muscle can be very tight, and when your hand's down like this, it can pinch on the nerves into your fingers. So actually, this, having vertical handlebars, is a more neutral position for riding than this is, which could put a strain on some people. Okay, so those are things you can do. Other things you might want to check out, they're less common than the pectoralis minor or the forearm area, which includes the hands and whatnot, is the scalene muscles. And you can tell if they're tight if you just take the edge of your collarbone and grip along it and push into those muscles. If they're tender, that can be a problem too, because when your neck is forward, those muscles can tighten up and pinch on the nerves that go into your hands. I've got another video on that, so I'm not going to explain that either. And so if you push here and you're feeling tenderness, that's another possible area where the nerves are being pinched. One other possible place is if you ride with your neck at a funny angle, try putting your head back at a funny angle when you're not riding your bike, and if that causes numbness in your hands, you may have a neck problem back there. That's for a video yet to come. Or you may want to check out a chiropractor. Okay, thanks.